It's another beautiful crisp February morning in the valley of the Rio De Las Animas as the sun begins to rear its head over Fort Lewis College, spilling into downtown Durango where we find K-28, number 476, bumping up a freight train in the Durango yard. Yesterday, we rode up the canyon with this graduate of the American Locomotive Company's Schenectady Works as it dragged a flanger as far as Needleton Tank. Today, she's leading up an assemblage of freight cars that include indigenous cars such as two 3000 series boxcars, a 6500 series fishbelly flat car, a 6600 series flat, and two East Broadtop coal hoppers splitting the two. East Broadtop hoppers on the Grande? Blasphemy, one may say. But today's train is not a recreation of the Rio Grande of old. While the coal along this line has gone the way of the dodo in a necessary conversion to fuel oil to make sure that these locomotives continue to operate in the mega drought that continues to keep the American West in its inescapable grip. Obviously, the change in fossil fuels here is a small footnote, as the glaring giveaway, making this not a Rio Grande freight, is the bold lettering along the tender cistern, proclaiming this as the Durango and Silverton, the operator of the famed Silverton branch, now in its 44th year. Today's freight, like the flanger train of yesterday, is shorn of its typical golden yellow coaches, as they are thrown behind a white passing Yukon DL535. A journey which we take part of the way in the cab of these vintage locomotives in a previous video available on this channel. The only accommodation on this train, aside from the footplate of the locomotive and the rearward-facing brakeman's cabin on the tender deck, is Caboose 0540, carrying the markers where the conductor and brakeman will hole up for this journey. Today's excursion is a nice break from the mixed trains that normally make up these photographers' journeys. Today, we'll race the 476 through the valley as Engineer Mike guides her to Rockwood, where we'll jump on the chase train to journey along the Rio de Las Animas. At Trimble, we pause our chase up the valley, where the outflow from Trimble Hot Springs gathers next to the Arrow Straight tracks as 476 rockets through the valley. Having surmounted Heramosa Hill with ease, 476 eases onto the High Line and begins to traverse the world-famous Horseshoe Curve. Here, the rails cling to this narrow ledge, some 250 feet above the cataracts of the Animas below. Due to a late departure from Durango, due to an errant rock on the track north of Heramosa, we've lost some time. And the operations crews of the Durango and Silverton have been working on the fly, which meant that we took the hole at Tacoma for the regular scheduled train number 261. So we've moved our next run-by to the crib wall at Teft. With train 262 departing Cascade, we've turned into the Y at Cascade and back to the fan-favorite location of Goblin Fire, where the needles of the San Juans jut over a mile higher into the azure February skies above us. We return to Teft once again, where the bridge over the Animas adds to the landscape as 476 steams southward to Durango. With the shadows of the day extending into the box canyon of the Animas, we're once again on the Horseshoe Curve, where 476 rounds along the escarpment on the narrow ledge carved nearly a century and a half ago.
Before the cruise shot happens, you guys want to come up much closer and get a picture of it right on the cliff?
Back at the bottom of Heramosa Hill, we find 482 sitting in the siding, still ailing from the hot bearing problems that ailed it all weekend and reared its head once again pulling train 262. It was limped here and cleared to allow both the chase train and 476 to roll to Durango unimpeded. We'll end our winter journeys in 2025 on the Silverton here, as the sun has already drifted behind the towering carved cliffs. I'm Big Deal. I'd like to thank you for watching, and if you haven't yet, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video.
What in the wide world of... Dear God. He just doesn't stop dancing.
What are you doing? Go home. The movie is over.
In the lieu of